To understand the universe, we take a journey that will take us to the infinite, from the dawn of time to the distant future. We have explored galaxies and stars and worlds, surfed the gravity waves of space and time, encountered beings that live in fire and ice, explore the planets of stars that never die, discover atoms as massive as suns and universes smaller than atoms. It's the saga of how our ancestors discovered fire, or how wandering sailors found their way through the stars.
All this comes down to the number one question: how do we know what we know? Philosophers have spent years on this question: how do we know what we know? Or what is knowledge? And how is knowledge acquired? What are the necessary conditions for knowledge? Philosophers have categorized these questions in a field called epistemology, which deals in study of nature, scope of knowledge, and belief in justification. It analyzes the nature of knowledge. Therefore, it relates to similar notions such as truth, belief, and justification.
To understand these questions, we go back to the beginning of existence, to the first death in the history of mankind, when Qabil killed his brother Habil in jealousy. Regretting after what he had done, he wanders across the forest to hide his brother's body as the body started to decay. According to the Quran and the traditions of Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him, he sees a crow which buried another crow, and he observed this act and got the idea to bury his brother. Another example from a series based on Einstein shows us the example of relativity. On observing a train moving at high speed and two lightning bolts hit the ground, it shows us that both hit at the same time. But what if one travels towards one and away from the other? For him, that will not be simultaneous, even though it should be if light moves at the same speed. This is the concept behind observing relativity. Our last example is based on time. How did our ancestors think of measuring time? We are introduced by the concept of sundial, which was created by the ancient Egyptians by observing how the direction of sun's shadow changes across the day.
To 60 minutes and each minute into 60 seconds. Well, that has to do with a numerical system that is still used today. Time for an Express Explorer explanation. Start the clock. The sexagesimal system takes us back to ancient Mesopotamia. It is a numerical system based on the number 60 that was developed by the Sumerians and later adopted by the Babylonians. They developed it by dividing parts of their fingers into single units and units of 12. Here's how it worked. Take a look at the palm of your hands. Notice that each of your fingers is divided into 3 sections. Using their thumbs to count, the Babylonians realized they could count up to 12 for each section on each finger of one hand. 3 times 4 equals 12. The 5 fingers on the other hand each represented a dozen, so 12 times 5 equals 60. Also, 60 is divisible by 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 10, 12, 15, 20, and 30, making it an easy number to split for a civilization with no calculators. This system is used nowadays to divide time, angles, geographical coordinates, and it is the mathematical base for astronomical coordinate systems.
The reality of nature is far more wondrous than anything we can imagine. These inventions are made possible by generations of researchers following a simple set of rules. Test ideas by experiments and observation. Build on those ideas that pass those tests and reject those that fail upon it. Follow the evidence wherever it leads and question everything. If you accept these terms, you will be able to answer the question, how do we know what we know? That's it. See you in the next video.